Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Home prices across Texas held steady in the first quarter of 2025, with only a slight increase from the same time last year, according to a report from Texas Realtors. In Corpus Christi, the median home price is $269,000, down 2.1% from last year. In Victoria, the median home price is just under $250,000, a bit lower than it was a year ago. In the Edinburgh-McAllen Mission area, the median home price is $242,000, up 3% compared to same quarter last year. The report also shows more homes on the market, but fewer are selling. Closed sales are down compared to last spring. A former DeWitt County constable and longtime public servant is under investigation by the Texas Rangers. Kelly Phelps, who served as Precinct 1 constable for 9 years, was arrested on April 17th on charges of tampering with a government record and abuse of official capacity, according to reporting by the Cuero Record. He has since been released on bond. Prior to his time as constable, Phelps worked as a firefighter paramedic and arson investigator in Victoria. He also served as director of public service academies at Victoria College and is a U.S. Navy veteran. Phelps resigned from his position late last year. The circumstances surrounding the charges remain under investigation. The Victoria County Sheriff's Office welcomed Tammy Dodds earlier this week as its new full-time physician assistant supervisor. A Victoria native, Dodds brings nearly 20 years of experience in the medical field with specialties in oncology, bariatrics, and gastroenterology. She holds degrees in clinical laboratory science from UTMB Galveston, physician assistant studies from Toro College, a master's from the University of Nebraska, and a doctor of medical science from Rocky Mountain University. The new position was approved by the Victoria County Commissioner's Court on March 3rd. The amendment combined the salaries of a nurse supervisor and a part-time contract physician assistant nurse practitioner to create the full-time role. Dodds will oversee the medical unit at the Victoria County Jail. And nature lovers can rejoice because the Birdiest Festival in America is back beginning today. KEDT's Joe Smikle has more.
The Birdiest Festival in America starts today at the South Texas Botanical Garden and Nature Center and continues until Sunday. Birds fly through Mexico and across the Gulf, going to and from the Arctic, so the coastal bend is the nexus for the hemisphere's great bird migration. The tiny warbler is one of the most popular birds among bird enthusiasts. Libby Even, Birdiest Festival in America coordinator, describes the warblers.
Warblers are tiny 5-6 inch long birds with bright colors. And everyone who is a birder wants to see all the warbler species. And so Texas is kind of unique, and especially on the Gulf Coast here, we're on the line between eastern and western birds. So we get both species that will land here in the springtime migration and stop over.
Of course, warblers aren't the only birds people want to watch. Dr. Michael Womack, Executive Director of the South Texas Botanical Gardens and Nature Center and garden columnist, elaborates on how people can add to their birding experience.
I think so often those of us that are not birders or didn't grow up as birders, we've just missed this wonderful thing around us. And so I really would encourage people to stop and smell the roses, like Libby said, learn a little bit about these things. And it can be overwhelming at first when you think about how many species are out there. It's like, but, learn one new bird this week or next week. And so once you get used to seeing, oh, that's a green jay, and now I understand what that is, or that's a roseate spoonbill. Every time you see it, it's going to be, oh, I know what that bird is, and that gets you kind of excited, and you can tell people around you. And that's kind of an easy way to get started.
The South Texas Botanical Garden and Nature Center will also have a ladybug release and a butterfly release, among countless other activities at the Birdiest Festival in America. This is Joe Smikle for KEDT News.
April is Communication and Media Month at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Students and faculty have been celebrating with campus events all month long, and now they're inviting the community to join in as the festivities wrap up with a special film screening at Alamo Drafthouse. KEDT's Emily Salazar sat down with doctors Ethan Thompson and Bill Huey from the Island University to find out more.
The movie is Flow. It's from Latvia, so probably your first opportunity for most of the people out there to see a film from Latvia in a movie theater and an Oscar winner to boot. So
I would describe it as the adventures of a very brave kitty cat. And I don't know how much we should give away about the events of the film.
Along with the special film screening, Emily got to chat with the professors about their time on the former show on KEDT, The Territory. We'll have that interview for you on a future episode of Morning Edition and South Texas Midday. In West Texas, the night skies are getting darker, knocking a national trend of growing light pollution. That's according to the McDonald Observatory near Fort Davis. The observatory's Stephen Hummel told the Texas Standard on Monday that efforts to control light pollution in the Permian Basin oil field are paying off.
We had a really large increase in light pollution between 2014 and 2020, mostly from oil and gas activity. But we've actually been able to work with them on lighting, and we've been able to reverse the trend. And the sky is no longer getting brighter, but actually has gotten about 20% darker in the last 5 years.
Hummel says light pollution impacts everything from bird migration to wildlife to the way plants and trees grow. The Senate has advanced a bill to study the cost to Texas of undocumented immigration. Houston Public Media's Andrew Schneider says Republicans blocked any consideration in the study of the benefits to the state from such immigration.
Democratic Senator Roland Gutierrez pressed the bill's author, Republican Senator Mays Middleton, on the need for a balanced study that considers benefits undocumented immigrants contribute through labor and consumer spending.
And your report doesn't look to study any kind of benefit, does it?
Well, Senator, we're not in the habit in this chamber to spend taxpayer dollars to study the benefit of breaking our laws.
Middleton said the study was necessary to track the costs to the state of law enforcement, health care, and education. Gutierrez noted that the state's last study of the issue, in 2006, found undocumented immigrants contributed a net benefit to the state's economy of more than $400 million. I'm Andrew Schneider in Houston.
Just hours before his death, Pope Francis appeared in a wheelchair and offered a blessing, and then someone else read his Easter address. It again focused on the vulnerable, marginalized, and migrants. It's the same message the pontiff, known as the People's Pope, had when he visited the Texas-Mexico border in 2016. And now the faithful on both sides of the border are in mourning.
In Juarez, the Pope's visit is commemorated with a gleaming white statue of him, arm outstretched, releasing a dove from his hand. I'm at El Punto, the point where the pontiff celebrated Mass in 2016 near the banks of the Rio Grande. People on both sides of the border gathered to hear the Pope's message. In Juarez, street vendor Rafa Ontiveros says he was selling paletas, fruit-flavored popsicles, outside the event.
Pues sí, es importante porque a los pobres pues nadie nos representa.
Ontiveros says the Pope's visit to Juarez was important because nobody represents us, the poor. El Paso and Susie Bird caught a glimpse of the Pope from the U.S. side of the border amid tight security as he blessed people on both sides. She said Pope Francis's message resonated in this region.
Always reminding us of the Gospels and our role in welcoming migrants, as indicated in the Bible, and welcoming strangers and welcoming people that are different than us.
Back in Juarez, I met Ana Ortiz. She spent Holy Week in Mexico visiting relatives and said she was sad to hear about the Pope's death. Ortiz was headed back across an international bridge to the U.S., carrying a 2-foot statue of the Virgin Mary she bought near the Juarez Cathedral.
Habemos muchas personas humildes, ¿verdad? Y a todas les brindaba su ayuda.
Ortiz says there are a lot of humble people, and he helped all of us. As she and many others mourn Pope Francis, they're finding comfort in their faith. I'm Angela Cocherga in Juarez, Mexico.
And in international sports and robotics news, in one small step for robot kind, thousands of them really, humanoid robots ran alongside actual humans in a half marathon in Beijing this past Saturday. The bipedal robots of various makes and sizes navigated the 13.1-mile course, supported by teams of human navigators, operators, and engineers, in what event organizers say was a first. As a precaution, a divider separated the parallel courses used by the robots and people. While flesh and blood participants followed conventional rules, the 20 teams fielding machines in the humanoid robot half marathon competed under tailored guidelines, which included battery swap pit stops. The Sky Project Ultra robot known as Tien Kun Ultra from the Tien Kun team claimed victory among the non-humans, crossing the finish line in 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 42 seconds. Awards were given out for Best Endurance, Best Gate Design, and Most Innovative Form. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.